In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean up your CSV file so that it's ready for importing into Next Level CRM. So a lot of the times when you're importing a CSV file or you've exported your database out of another CRM, you're going to have a lot of fields and a lot of columns that are not really relevant in the context of sales and marketing and CRM. So what you need to do with a lot of these fields is just get rid of them so that you don't have to map it when you're importing this CSV file into the CRM. So for things like user ID, if it's not really important for sales and marketing, then you don't need to import that into the CRM. Now, if you do need this data so that when you're looking at the contact, you need this data to be attached to the contact, then I would keep it. But a lot of the times you don't need it. So I'm just going to delete and go through and just delete all of the fields and all of the data that's not important. So for example, for here, I'm just going to delete this because I don't need it. Ranking, I'm going to change that. So I'll keep that. Last contact date is important. So I'm going to keep all of those. You can see here like registration date. There's no actual data in this column, right? So you just want to delete all of this, delete that. Last login date, not important in the context of sales and marketing. So I'm just going to delete that as well. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to clean everything up. Now, for example, I want to show you something here where the username is actually the same as the company name. Okay, so this is one that I cleaned up a little bit earlier and I prepared it in advance. So you can see here, you got username and you've got company, and they're both exactly the same. So you got Family Care Pharmacy and Family Care Pharmacy. But the way that this CSV file has imported from the previous system is the username, which really should be the first and last name. It's actually imported it without any spacing. So what I'm going to do here is, because this and this is actually the same name, but this one is mapped out better. It's got spacing. So when I use this as a first name to say hello so-and-so, hello first name, it's going to look nicer because it's got that space. So what I'm going to do here is basically I'm going to take all of this and these columns, and I'm going to copy that column and I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to paste it. And instead of company, I'm just going to put that as first name. Okay. And so when I message these people or email these people, it's going to take that as their first name. It's going to say, hello, Lawn Pharmacy, hello, Sunshine City Pharmacy, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of the time, 99% of the time, you're actually going to have the first and last name of the contact. Now, in this case, we don't, so we're just going to use their company as the first and last name. So user email we want to keep. Now, a lot of the time here, all of this stuff, it says last order date, which is correct, but basically it's going to be a note. Okay, so we're going to import that as a note. And in fact, let me just keep that last order date. I'm just going to keep that as it is. But basically, you want to clean up all of this so that it's ready for importing. So shopper groups is really going to be a tag. So a lot of the time, you want to decide, is it going to be a tag or is it going to be a note? Now, for me, this is going to be a tag. Okay. This also is going to be another tag. So I'm just going to do that, tag, tag, tag. And so just many times, like 99% of the time, it's either going to be a tag or a note. Obviously, things like company, name, address, email, you can just map that as it is. But if you've got custom data like total orders, okay, that's going to be a note. That's going to be a note, okay, in my system, okay. That's going to be a note. This one here, periodontist, if they were a periodontist, then that's going to be a tag, right? But there's no data in there, so I'm just going to delete that column. And this one here is also going to be a tag, okay? So you can see here, one means yes, 0 means no. So what's happened here is we've imported this CSV file from a WordPress CRM, and the way that it was set up is, instead of tagging it with an actual name, they've just used the 0 and 1 situation. So what we need to do here is we need to actually take this, and we need to take that, and we need to basically, where there's a 1, we need to just put the actual tag in, so that when we import this, it's going to actually take the name of the tag. Oops. Take the name of the tag and actually insert the tag, and not just the number 1 or 0, because number 1 or 0 doesn't mean anything in a CRM. Okay, so you want to do that properly. And so I won't do it for the sake of time, but that's what you would need to do in a situation like that. Are they interested? That would be a note. Business type, this would be a tag. So I'm just going to change that to a tag so that it makes it a lot easier for me to map when I'm doing the importing. Now, do I want the tag to say pharmacies, or do I want it to say pharmacy? Okay, I would prefer it to say pharmacy, so I'm just going to change that. And I'm also going to, because I'm OCD, I'm going to capitalize each P. Okay, and so basically we're just going to drag all of that, and that should all say pharmacy. Okay, so each and every contact in here is going to have that tag, and this tag of pharmacy is going to be applied to all of these couple of hundred contacts. Okay, so I'll do that later as well. Now, this one here is a promo code, so I want to see that as a tag. So just decide whether it's going to be a tag or a note. Okay, and then once you've cleaned that up, it'll be ready for import into the CRM. You can see here we've got a secondary email. So if we go back, we've already got their email right here. Okay, so we're not going to need a secondary email. So again, if it's important to you, maybe keep it and you can add it as a secondary email. For me, it's not going to be that important, so I'm just going to delete that column. Okay, and so now that you've cleaned this up and you've changed everything is either a tag or a note. Okay, so this is going to be a note. Okay, because I can tell just by looking at it, it's going to be a note. Okay, and not a tag. Okay, but just decide whether it's going to be a note or a tag, clean it all up, and because the data that you see here, it's going to import exactly as it is. So even that first name that I showed you before, it's going to import it as that. So just clean it all up, and then now it's ready for importing. Now, for something like this where you've got a tag, I just saw this, and you see pharmacies. You don't want to have two tags in the one column. Okay, just keep it really separate. So you can see this one is registered and also a pharmacy. Registered means that they've registered an account with the system that it's come out of. Okay, and so basically what I would do in this situation is just get rid of the word pharmacy. So what we want to do here is just drag that along and just get rid of all of that where it says pharmacies. And so now we've got one tag that says registered, the other tag says pharmacy, and that will be the correct way to do it. So once you've cleaned this up, watch the next video to see how you would import it. Thank you. Bye.